Hi, guys. I know it's been a few weeks since Easter, but I finally finished my Easter eggs. And I wanted to show them to you. This one is the first one I made this year, and I made it in a sort of workshop or class um, with a guy who is actually Ukrainian. And what I've done here, these pysanky are Ukrainian art or craft or tradition. I've made them before, but it was really fun to get to do something like this in a group setting like that. So this one was really fun for me. It is also probably the most traditional one I have out of my designs here. Although I did try to incorporate traditional elements into most of them. Um, they are empty eggs, hollowed out after they're dyed. And then ready to display. So that's this one. This one was probably my favorite to do. Next, I did something that is very non-traditional. I used brown eggs. Now, with brown eggs, it's harder to get the colors to stick. Well, the dyes stick, but once you've dyed it, the wax won't stick as well. So you usually have about one color you can get on them. So this one's just simply black and brown. It's in a traditional division, which is the 12 diamonds division. If we look at the top of the egg, there's 4 diamonds spaced around the top of the egg, and there's 4 diamonds spaced around the bottom of the egg. And then where those sets of diamonds meet, it leaves gaps for a third set of 4 diamonds going around the middle of the egg. And so all the diamonds have the same design in this case. They don't always, but in this case they do. It's just turned different ways. And the little diamonds and the wavy lines are also pretty traditional elements. It's just the using brown eggs that's not very traditional. Another one I did with a brown egg is this one right here. In this one, I used a barrel division, which is you make bands around the egg, and then a top circle and a bottom circle. And with this one, I tried to show a scene almost. So at the top, we've got the sun. And below the sun is the clouds with lightning striking in the clouds. It's this bit right here. And then there's rain coming down slantwise, and waves. But below that, it's quite peaceful, and there's fish. The fish are a traditional element on many Ukrainian Easter eggs. These fish might be a slightly non-traditional design, I'm not sure. But fish in general are a very traditional design. Below the fish, we have a row of water plants. At least that's what these little bits are intended to represent. And then we have their roots below that. And then the pebbles that form the bottom of the lake, getting bigger as they go down. And this one I dyed dark blue instead of black. So that one was fun. There is a way to get two colors onto an egg, a brown egg. And that is to make sure that you don't have any bits that start without being contained by the eggshell color. So this one is another 12 diamonds egg. And in this one I managed to get it to do both red and black. And I thought that one was pretty cool. And then I did one more not 12 diamond egg, one more brown egg. And that is this one in green. With these little traditional star, 8-pointed star motifs, making a band along it that intersects with another band. And in the spaces between, we have these curly plants. In two designs, the curlier and the simpler alternate. So that's my brown eggs. And that, as I said, that bit is not traditional, partly because they're just harder to get the wax to stick to. And the wax is an important part of how we make these eggs. You put beeswax on the egg wherever you want it to stay the original color. And then you dip it in the next color, the first color, the next color, whichever it is. And it turns that color. And then when you're done, you heat the beeswax up again and wipe it off. And then you can give it a gloss finish if you like. And then you blow the contents out of a little hole and wash it out, ideally, if you're gonna blow it out. So, this egg is not a very complicated egg, but it's a good example of how we do the colors. So what I did first is I dipped a Q-tip in wax for this one instead of the traditional kistka. I was showing my kids a simpler way to put spots on the eggs because they got frustrated with the with essentially doing it with making designs with something the size of a mechanical pencil. They wanted to fill in large areas. So I showed them you could make white spots by dipping a Q-tip in wax and dotting it on to make spots. Well, they weren't that interested in that version either. So then after I had dipped it in yellow, I took the kistka again, the little heatable funnel with the mechanical pencil size tip, and ran it around each of the white dots on the yellow dyed egg to get it to leave some yellow there. Ran it around each of the dots and even added, I think, a dot or two that were, this one didn't have any white. So after I dyed it orange, I did that again and made a ring of orange by putting wax around the existing wax dots. Made a ring of orange around each of the spots. And then after I'd put wax on where it's now orange, I dipped it in the red and got a ring of red around it by writing on it with the wax around the edges of the dots on the red egg. And I put some extra little dots too. And then some purple. And then after I'd written the wax onto the purple rings and added some purple dots, I dipped it in black. And then I heated it up and wiped away all the wax and got the cool design here. This one is semi-traditional, I guess, because there is a separate tradition of just making big dots of wax on the egg, but usually not rings around those dots. My husband says it looks like a galaxy egg. So that one's fun. This one is a division called, by division I mean a way of making the shapes on the egg. This one is a division called the needle's eye, because this shape right here goes around like the eye of a needle, and then it goes along like a needle. And then it's got another needle's eye on the other side. And then if you turn it the other way around, it's got that same shape here that extends into another needle's eye here. And this one is my most Easter-y egg of them all, because it's got a cross here And then on the other side of the band, the other design is of grapes, and these are pussy willow branches. And those are in Ukraine, for Palm Sunday. Instead of using palm branches, they use pussy willow branches for everyone to shout Hosanna with. And paired with that, the grapes symbolize the communion wine or grape juice. So, this one is very traditional in its symbols. And also very Easter-y. This one is another traditional division, but the butterfly wings on it are not as traditional. Butterflies are traditional, but not usually this monarch butterfly design. So the division on this one is, it's called Soracoklin, or 40 diamonds. Technically there are 48 diamonds, but it's called 40 diamonds. You can see there's a band here that stretches down from one point of the egg to the other point, like that. And there are 8 of those bands. If you look from the top center, you can see the 8 bands distributed around there. And each of those bands has 6 diamonds in it. And they're made by cutting the egg in half with your lines several times over. First through here, and then around the middle, and then these sort of diagonal circles here. And this diagonal circle turns into a horizontal circle across the top and another across the bottom of those set of triangles. So that's fun. It's hard to get these dots to be truly random instead of just evenly spaced. In order to get an actually random distribution of dots, what I did was I copied patterns of my freckles. I'd pick a little patch of freckles and copy that into the dots. So this one is really quite organic in its in its designs. This one, I decided to do the same flower on 2 sides, but with different amounts of petals. So this one has an 8-pointed star at the center of it. And this one has a 16-pointed star. And they just make very different looking flowers. And then along the edge, there's a very traditional band in red and white. It's almost a Greek key design or a curly design. And then the band here has little white flowers with yellow centers circled in gold. And through the diamonds, there's also these little bits like two curls around a red dot. So this egg was an interesting challenge. I liked this. This is another Sora Coquelin or 40 Diamonds egg. It's just got simple geometric patterns, but it looks pretty cool. This one is for someone in particular. Whoops. Some of the rinse water didn't get dried out. I like the colors on this one. I tried to fit in as many colors as I could into the design of this egg. So we've got yellow and turquoise and a hot pink purple color. There's another one similar to it, but just done in black and turquoise and purple. And on this one, it was interesting. When I was removing the wax, I had some smearing of the blue, and I don't know why that happened, but it some of the triangles came out looking quite nice, like this one. And then some of them, the blue just smeared as I took off the wax. So, I don't know what was up with that. I had one more that was identical to this one, just with a different name on it, that I've already given away. Similar to that, this egg has a twin that I've already given away. That twin was in red where this one is blue and gold where this one is green. This design has some more traditional fish on it. Maybe if well, you can see the fish over here. That's a more traditional, simplified fish. And then there's a little 4-pointed star in the middle and some blue and white dots around it. And some little vines that are growing. And then up the sides of the egg are these bands of vines with little berries and flowers. I thought this design was really pretty. Anthony picked out this design. It's a band of 8 pointed stars going around the egg horizontally and vertically. And then in the little yellow bands next to the stars, there's these little bitty leaves and white curls. Uh-oh, I think that's not a crack. Looks like a hair got stuck in the polish. I'll have to get that off. I've just got 2 left. This one's another Sora Coquelin, but on this one, every set of 8 diamonds forms a flower. There's one here, and going around the egg, there are 4 flowers around the middle, and a flower at the top, a flower at the bottom. I really like this one, and it hasn't got so many colors in it, which makes it in some ways easier than the more complicated ones, but it's still really, really pretty. The orange and yellow go well together with the black background. And this is the last one I've got. This one is, it has a traditional 8-pointed star with another 8-pointed star behind it. And there's 4 of that design around the egg. And then there's another one at the top and at the bottom that are growing these little vines off of them. Come together here. I referred to this one as the ice crystal flower in my notes because, well, it looks like a flower but also an ice crystal. Blue isn't a very traditional color, especially 2 shades of blue, but I really liked it. It was fun to do. A lot of these were fun to do. Thank you for looking at my Easter eggs with me. I had fun making them this year, and I hope you had a good Easter.